Hello, welcome to Caesar's Snack Sandwich. Today I have a quick video for you on zkSafe. Now this is a new thing coming out. It's kind of out. It was in the new Lisbon hackathon. This is the Zero Knowledge hackathon. It was produced by Emiliano. He's a good friend of mine, sort of, from the old Yearn days. Anyhow, he's created this plugin for Gnosis Safe that allows you to connect and sign transactions with your email or your Twitter account. Now I do have a flowchart for you that I'll go through and kind of explain how it works in some senses and some other ideas about just safes in general and so forth. But yeah, I do suggest you to come and check out like these different websites. He has created his own video that kind of walks you through the steps of how to do this. And I do suggest you to check those out as well. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Let's go over to the flowchart now. If you would like to support the channel, I would suggest you to check out the secretsandwich.xyz. It's the Secret Sandwich NFT project. You can come here, you can mint an NFT, or you can come and check out your NFTs. Okay, so let's get back to it. Okay, so here we are on the flowchart, and we have Mama Bill, Grandma Bill, I guess we call her, Bill, Dollar Bill, and Boosted Bill, and they all want to take part in some financial transactions together. So as I said, before I can explain zkSafe, I should explain to you what safes are. So if you already know this, maybe you can try to skip ahead, but anyhow, I'll try to make it as brief as possible, okay? So the first thing we have is, let's say grandma has a whole bunch of money and she wants to share it with the boys. Okay, for example, whatever the reason is, they have some, entrepreneurial like ambitions, or she just wants to give them some money and let them spend it on stuff, but at the same time still control some of the spending and so forth, or at least have some sort of like view on what's going on with this money. Okay, however, maybe Boosted Bill also has some money and he wants to also include it in this wallet, this safe. So this is the logo here for Gnosis Safe, or they call it just Safe now. So it's the safe in the middle. So they basically put the funds into this safe together, or everybody puts in some share. It's a deal between them. Now these are often commonly used by projects in order to like protect the project's funds from individual actors. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits of these. So the first thing we have is, the first benefit is that it's non-individual. So the money inside this safe cannot, generally speaking, cannot be used or utilized or moved by a single individual. That's the purpose of the safe, okay? Now, they're also extortion proof. So let's say they're, Dollar Bill has some problems, like, maybe he's borrowed some money from some shady people and they come knocking on his door or whatever, or they find out he's got big bags of crypto and they come knocking on his door and they want him to send that money to someone else. It's not possible as long as this safe is utilized correctly. And then also phish proof. Let's say Boosted Bill is degenerating. He's like clicking on all kinds of links. He's trying to get NFT airdrops and stuff like that. And his wallet gets compromised. Well, if his wallet gets compromised, then the people who get control over his wallet won't be able to move this money again, as long as this is set up properly. So the idea of this is, if the money wants to get moved, let's say they want to use the money inside this safe to buy some property or buy some assets or whatever they want to do with this money. They want to move it out of the safe, basically. So in order to do that, then there needs to be multi-signs. So several of the actors who are owners of this safe need to say, yes, this is good. So generally speaking, the amount of actors can go up to like 8, 10, 12, 15, many. But in this case, we have 3 actors, right? So if you were to put one of 3, then it kind of makes it pointless. Basically, any one individual can move money out of this safe. So that kind of, nullifies the benefits of this, except for the case that, everyone, this could be a fund that anyone inside here has access to and can use however they please. And then in that case, a one of 3 might be okay. But it removes the security features of the safe. So 2 of 3 is the best in this case with these 3 people, because 2 of the people have to agree that this transaction is valid and that they've all agreed on it and that it's good for the project or the safe or the owners, right? And then 3 of 3 is a problem, because if for some reason one person does get hacked or loses their private keys or something like that, has no access to their computer, then that money gets frozen in there because that third signature cannot come. So generally speaking, you want to have less than the total, but as much of the total as possible in most cases, okay? So if there was 5, maybe you would want 3 of 5 or 4 of 5. It all depends on, there's some considerations of convenience there, right? So moving on. So now they have these modules, these additions to the Gnosis Safe that you can plug into your Gnosis Safe to make it more effective, to give it more utility or more benefits. And some of the benefits that you can expect if you plug a module in is maybe you can set spending limits. So the amount of money that can come out at one time can be limited to a certain amount, right? Perhaps you want to repeat a transaction, like pay your rent every month or something like this. So pay some fee every month. Then you can set up those repeated transactions, assign them, and then they will continually happen. There's the possibility of some automations, like maybe send it there and get back some, and then there's all kinds of other things like allowances. Perhaps this person can only be allowed to use so much money in this safe when they set up a transaction and so forth. There's all kinds of possibilities, but the idea is that they have these modules here that can upgrade the utility of it and create more use case or more filters and more perimeters that need to be checked in order for transactions to go through. Moving on. Now, one of the things people that this zkSafe is trying to solve is the reliance on a MetaMask or Rabi or any kind of like wallet. Now, why do they want to? Why is this a problem per se, right? Because most of us in DeFi use MetaMask and we're quite comfortable with it, or Rabi or whatever wallet you use. We're quite comfortable with it and we know how to use it, so we don't really need this zkSafe, right? However, for other people who are like traditional finance or new people to DeFi, this is a learning curve. This is something that they have to jump over, they have to get past, right? So it has complexity to set up and to use. It's not the most simple thing to use. It's not simple, right? Now, it's also unfamiliar, like especially the idea of having to keep your keys safe, keep them private, put a MetaMask on your browser. These are things that people don't normally do, especially with normal banking and so forth. For the most part, it's unrecoverable. So if someone were to gain access to your MetaMask, you wouldn't be able to recover your funds. But also, if you were to delete MetaMask but don't have your seed phrase written down, then you wouldn't be able to recover the power of this MetaMask. Okay, and that includes money inside as well as the ability to sign transactions on the safe. And the benefit of this is that it is non-custodial, so any money inside there is not saved on any servers, any of your name or any kind of identity stuff or your passwords. None of this is saved on centralized servers. So that's the major benefit of this, and why I would still use MetaMask and I plan to still use MetaMask or some web3 wallet in order to sign my safe transactions. However, there is the idea that this is useful for other people, right? So let's moving on. So here we have a SISO, okay, Sismo, so Sismo. So the first thing, whoever's creating this safe, or the safe is created, and they want to use this Sismo thing. So what they would do is they would go to the Sismo, right, to the Sismo website, and they'd set up a group, okay, a Sismo group. And let's say in this case they call it Bill Family, the Bill Family, okay. Now, they would want to add the type of people. Who are the people who have access or have control over this Bill family? So the type of things that you could use in order to grant access to this Bill family signing rights is things like 0x address. So again, the MetaMask, right? So this is they don't want to remove this ability, right? Because it's still useful, right? So your 0x address, or maybe your bill.eth address, was just pretty much the same thing, just a different way to look at it. So maybe your GitHub account or your Twitter account, or even your email address, or even all of the people who hold a certain ERC20 token or a 720, an NFT, a 721 token, right? So maybe instead, all these three people could have an NFT that only they have. And because they have that NFT, they have signing rights as Bill's family. And if Bill, passes that NFT to his son when he grows up, then his son will have the signing rights as opposed to Bill, okay? So we set up the bills family, we set up who is in bills family per se using these perimeters. And then we have to install a module, like basically the same as these kind of modules, but we install the Sismo module into our safe. Now this is a little bit hard right now, but eventually it will get easier. Right now you have to use a script to do it, but in the future it will just be simple, like in the Gnosis Safe app, you just install it. Now how does it work? Okay, how does this Sismo thing work? So here is the lines for it. Okay, so let's say dollar bill here, he wants to set up a transaction. So he goes to the safe, to this Sismo app, right? This module inside the safe, and he sets the perimeters of what he wants to do. Okay, so he wants to send this much ETH to buy this house to this contract, right? So he sets that up. Okay, sets the perimeters of what he wants to do. And then he clicks the connect button and he's sent to the Sismo website, where he then connects to the Sismo website using his credentials, right? Like he has power over his Twitter, so he would then use his Twitter to connect to the Sismo website, right? And then the Sismo website would send that information to say that, yes, this is the guy who should be able to sign to here, but it doesn't send his email address. It doesn't send his information. It just sends the right, like the zero knowledge proof that yes, this is the right guy. So we call it zero knowledge confirm. Okay, so he confirms with the safe that this is the right guy, and then after that's done, he can then execute this transaction, and then the other signers will have to sign, like because it's a 2 of 3 per se. So then another signer will have to come along, sign that as valid, and then execute it on chain by paying Ethereum gas. Okay, so that pretty much covers how this thing works. I think it's pretty interesting. I do like that it's like, a public service good kind of coming out, and I do like the work that Emiliano does, and when he puts his brain to it. So I think that's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been interesting and useful, and goodbye.